the Blu-ray Lover channel here with my basically WWE Raw and SmackDown draft, which was aired on the premiere show on basically the USA Network's SmackDown Live first episode. They had their draft. They hit that draft right away. We didn't wait. They went and basically Stephanie McMahon took Seth Rollins as their #1 pick. Then SmackDown's #1 pick was Dean Ambrose. He's the World Heavyweight Champion. Tell you who has been drafted to Raw or SmackDown and who from NXT has been drafted to Raw or SmackDown. And Bayley has not been drafted. So, yeah, guys, she's not on the main roster yet. But somebody says she's going to be Sasha Banks' partner on Battleground this weekend. Let's see. All right, so here we go to who's been drafted to Raw and SmackDown. Camilla was drafted to SmackDown Live. I guess she's from NXT. Curtis Axel was drafted to Raw. Mojo Rawley was drafted to SmackDown Live. I guess he's from NXT. Dana Brooke was drafted to Raw. Erick Rowan drafted to SmackDown Live. Alicia was Raw. The Vaudevillains was drafted to SmackDown. The Shining Stars, which are Epico and Primo, were drafted to Raw. Eva Marie was drafted to SmackDown Live, even though she has not been on any damn programming in like once. I don't know why she's still there. Bo Dallas was drafted to Raw. Breeze Dango was selected and basically drafted to SmackDown Live. Braun Strowman was drafted to Raw. So that means the Wyatt family is breaking up. Oh shit. Alexa Bliss was drafted to SmackDown Live. Mark Henry was drafted to Raw. Mark Henry needs to retire already. Apollo Crews was drafted to SmackDown Live. Zack Ryder was drafted to SmackDown Live. That means he'll get a push. The Dudley Boyz drafted to Raw. The Ascension, SmackDown Live. Jack Swagger to Raw. Naomi, SmackDown Live. Naomi still wrestling? Sin Cara was drafted to Raw. Kalisto was drafted to SmackDown Live. I guess they're breaking them up. The Lucha Dragons are broken up. Darren Young was drafted to Raw. Paige drafted to Raw. I haven't seen Paige in a few weeks. The Demon Kane was drafted to SmackDown Live. He needs to retire too. Titus O'Neil drafted to Raw. The Usos drafted to SmackDown Live. They haven't been on in a while. The Golden Truth drafted to Raw. Sheamus drafted to Raw. Alberto Del Rio drafted to SmackDown Live. Cesaro drafted to Raw. Natalya drafted to SmackDown Live. Neville, who will be returning soon, was drafted to Raw. Nia Jax, who's on NXT, was just called to the main roster. She will be going to Raw. Dolph Ziggler will be going to SmackDown Live. The Big Show, who's another one who should fucking retire, was drafted to Raw. American Alphas were drafted to SmackDown Live. I guess those guys are on NXT. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were drafted to Raw, soaking up the club. Endo and Cass were drafted to Raw. Baron Corbin drafted to SmackDown. Kevin Owens drafted to Raw. The Miz and Maurice drafted to SmackDown Live. Rusev and Lana drafted to Raw. Chris Jericho drafted to Raw. Wow. Becky Lynch, SmackDown Live, drafted. Sasha Banks, my girl, was drafted to Raw. Bray Wyatt was drafted to SmackDown Live. Wow, so they are breaking up the Wyatt family. Sami Zayn drafted to Raw. The New Day drafted to Raw. Randy Orton drafted to SmackDown. Brock Lesnar drafted to Raw. He ain't going to SmackDown because, you know, they keep him on Raw. John Cena's the big surprise here. He was drafted by SmackDown. I guess they want to push SmackDown in the ratings, and so they put John Cena there, which is still weird to me. Why is John Cena on SmackDown? Roman Reigns, who got the biggest boo of the night, is drafted to Raw. Finn Bálor, who got the biggest roar during the show, finally has made the main roster after being there in NXT for 3 years. Can't wait to see what he does there. He was drafted to Raw. AJ Styles drafted to SmackDown, so he'll still beat up John Cena. Charlotte, the women's champion, will be drafted to Raw. Dean Ambrose, the WWE champion, drafted to SmackDown Live. And Seth Rollins, the #1 draft pick, was drafted to Raw. And a couple of other wrestlers were left out of this list. I don't know who they are, but I think Heath Slater was not drafted. Some of the other divas who are hurt and on the injured list, they weren't even drafted either. So whoever's on the injured list will probably get picked up by one of them as a free agent or something. So, alright guys, that was my whole entire list of the people who were drafted to Raw and SmackDown. It's kind of cool to see some of that young NXT stars to make the main roster. I can't wait to see Finn Bálor because I've not seen him on NXT. Please don't crucify me. But there are a couple breakups. The Lucha Dragons are broken up. Yeah, Kalisto's on SmackDown Live and Sin Cara is on Raw. And Braun Strowman is on Raw. And Erick Rowan and Bray Wyatt are going to SmackDown. So yeah, it's a lot of surprises here. They kept and they took in, and then Alicia Fox is still with the WWE, and Eva Marie, Alexa Bliss. Somebody tells I need to know who she is, and Naomi is going to SmackDown, but she hasn't wrestled in months. And Paige has been in and out of trouble the last couple of weeks with the WWE. She's been in their shit house. This is a good list, but still shocked that John Cena's on SmackDown. So yeah, all right guys. So this WWE 2016 draft, Raw and SmackDown draft recap show, and still shocked about some people, and actually surprising, and some call-ups from NXT. Bayley was not on this list, but she may still be up for grabs either from Raw and SmackDown, so there'll probably be a storyline on both shows. And whoever else was not added onto the list will be added on soon. Like I said, Heath Slater was not on this list. Something's up with that. And yeah, the WWE draft, the recap show for Raw and SmackDown 2016 draft. Are you happy with who's been drafted to Raw and SmackDown? Are you surprised to see John Cena on SmackDown? Or who you think got the short end of the stick? Did you think that Seth Rollins needed to be the #1 draft pick, even though he's been picking it the whole time? The show itself, SmackDown Live, was very boring. The match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose for the championship belt was boring. The one from Raw from last night was better until they fucked up that ending. I did a rant on that video from Raw. It's on my channel if you want to check that out. SmackDown Live, the draft did help out, but the show itself was sucky. And I did not enjoy it. It was 2 hours. Thank God it was 2 hours, because sometimes 3 hours of Raw can be just a long 3 hours of yawning. Alright guys, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and share this video as well. I'm the BLU-RAY Lover channel.